Hey, you guys. Welcome to Talk About It Thursdays. We're a little bit later today due to my work schedule being so busy and people on vacation for the holidays. So we just have to get it how we live. Let me know when you guys are on. I hope you guys are staying warm best you can. And we will get started in just a minute. Because y'all know I don't like to hold you and I'm ready to snuggle up on the couch with my blanket and some hot cocoa. So we will get started in just a minute.
The thing that keeps us going is our vitality. The thing that keeps us going is our thing that keeps us going is
You guys ready for Christmas? Hey, Miss Tasha, how are you? Happy Thursday, almost Christmas. Hey, Kinsley, how are you? I've been trying to reach you. We've been hitting and missing each other. Happy Thursday. I hope you guys are staying warm as best you can. I know, I'm not feeling this cold weather. I know it's time for it, but I still don't like it. But God didn't ask for my assistance, so it is what it is. Good to see you guys. We'll give everybody about another 30 seconds and we'll go ahead and get started for today. And I'm praying you guys have the best Christmas ever. And remember, you guys, it's not about buying all those gifts and running yourself raggedy. It's about family. It's about love. It's just about being grateful, that you're still here. So much has happened since COVID started. I mean, that's just been an eye opener for me just to how precious life really is. I've seen people that were marathon runners, not an ounce of body fat, stayed in shape, end up dropping dead, either from a heart situation or from COVID. They don't know what it was. But you can't take life for granted, you guys. You got to live it your best life and work it with whatever situation you got to deal with. And that's kind of what we talked about last week. You got to go through it. It's things in life that we are just going to have to go through, and we just have to do it the best way that we can. And that's why support friends, real friends, are so important, you guys, because they hold you up when you get weak. They hold you up when your mind starts racing and you start getting anxious and start getting depressed and worried. That's why God made us to be so relational. We can't separate from each other. We can't distance ourselves from one another, for very long, because we need one another to survive. And I believe in that wholeheartedly, because I've tried doing a lot of things by myself and it's just a lot harder. It's just extra stuff, extra burdens you put on yourself because you don't reach out for some help when you need it. So let's not do that, you guys. So let's get started. My topic today is She Ain't Here. And as y'all saw the picture, everybody knows what that's like. When you were little, that phone rang and your mama looked over and said, "Tell them I'm not here." Well, that's what it is. We're going to start telling some things we're not here anymore. I'm reaching out to those people that have really tried to make a change this year. Every year we talk about being better and better and better. Yes, we're going to make mistakes. Yes, we're going to have some setbacks. But the goal by the end of the year is to be a better person today than you were last year. And I can honestly believe from the people that I know on this page, from the feedback that I've gotten, people are getting better. People are learning to love one another a little bit better. People are learning to forgive one another. And people are learning that we need each other, just like what I said. Instead of fighting against one another, we're starting to learn that we can get more done if we become unified, if we reach out for the other person instead of going on our own way and not caring about what happens to the people that we leave behind. Hey, Pam. Hey, happy holidays to everybody. So today I want to talk to the people that have committed themselves to be a better woman or a better man this year. And that's admirable, because one thing about it, if you don't set a goal for yourself, why do you have anything to achieve? You always need to push yourself. You always need to take yourself to that next level and see what's next. Don't ever get comfortable. where you are. Be grateful for where you are, but don't get comfortable, because there's more layers to you than that. We're like onions, you guys. And I tell people all the time, when guys come at me talking about you want to date me, I have a lot of layers. And you're going to have to take the time to get to know me, and you're going to have to peel back those layers. I'm way past that time when, all this surface stuff was okay. No, I want something deep. I want something meaningful. And not just in a man-woman relationship. I want that in my friendships. I don't want people that are surface type friends, because those are the ones that'll leave you high and dry when something goes on or when you really need them. So let's talk about the people that have really tried this year. And I want you to start patting yourself on the back, because I salute y'all, because I know how much I've grown this year. And you have to start patting yourself on the back, because some of us have gone through a lot of pain, sweat, and tears to get to where we are right now today. So don't wait for somebody to celebrate you. You need to celebrate yourself. You're the one that went through everything. You're the one that cried yourself to sleep. You're the one that stayed up walking the floor at night. Don't wait for anybody else to celebrate you. And you celebrate your small steps. Don't worry about that you didn't do the big thing that you set out to do. That's okay. As long as you're making a little bit of progress at a time, eventually you're going to get to where you need to be. So celebrate yourself and stop being so hard on yourself simply because you're not where somebody else is. That may not be your journey for right now. You need to stay in your own lane and do what you need to do for you to make you a better person, make you a better mother, a better father, a better sister, brother, a better friend. And that's all you can ask for. And one thing about it, you don't have to try real hard. If you're really sincere in your heart, you will start making the necessary changes. And before you know it, everybody will start noticing it too. Okay? And everybody makes a choice. You're either going to stay the same or you're going to do the work to get better. And I dare say I believe most of us are putting in the work, because we know that there's more to us. Once you have a relationship with God, you know that there are so many doors that are open for you. Hey, Tammy, so many doors that are open for you, but it's going to require God to do a little bit of work on you. He's going to have to break some things down. He's going to have to put you back down to that lump of clay so that he can mold you the right way. Because you know what happens to all of us, you guys, is life corrupts us. The way we grew up corrupts us. The bad things that we've gone through, the hurt that we felt, the mean things people have said to us, it corrupts us and it makes us a marred vessel. And even our sins, the things that we've done that we're ashamed of, it makes us a marred vessel. We may have started out one way, but along the way, we got marred, we got twisted, we got tangled, we got bent. And that's just life, you guys. Things are going to happen. And that's why God is the only one, because he's the potter that can put you back together again. You can talk to a therapist all you want to. You can get on medication all you want to. But at the end of the day, those things are good. You need that support system, but understand that God is the only one, because he's your creator, that can break you down and bring you back up again. And he can make you that beautiful vessel he intended for you to be. So don't be ashamed if you've fallen off here and there. Just get back up again and try to do the best that you can. And get your mind prepared. There are some people that like you broken. Some people won't like you in your new season, and you got to be ready for that. When you start growing, you start getting better, you start loving yourself, there's some people that's going to really be hating on you. They're going to find something wrong, or they're going to find a reason to not like you, or find a way to not be your friend anymore, and encourage other people not to be your friend. I was talking to my daddy on the phone before we got here, and Lord have mercy, he would not let me off the phone. But he said something, you have to listen to your elders, because they'll throw out a nugget at you and they don't even realize they've done it. And he said something to me. He said, you know what? I try to tell, my grandkids and stuff. He's like, you know what? Those friends are there. But as soon as you get one step ahead of them, You'll find out who's your friend and who's your enemy, because they don't like it when you get one step ahead of them. Those frenemies, as they say, and we'll do a talk about that. Those friends that are supposed to be your friend, but as soon as you start excelling, as soon as you start doing a little bit better than them, then they switch over to the other side and they become the enemy. They stay close enough to you to make you believe they're a friend, but they're working for the other side. So just understand that you have to be careful about who you decide is your friend. Make sure people really care for you like they say that they do. Because sometimes people won't like you in your new season, and you got to be okay with that. I've lost some people along the way just because I've grown this year. And it's not that I'm better than anybody else. It's just some things I have outgrown. And I love everybody that I don't even deal with anymore. I don't have any animosity towards them. And as far as I know, they don't have any towards me. But there's just some things I can't dabble with anymore. Some things I've outgrown. Some things just don't interest me like they used to. And I thank God for that. I do, because that's my sign that I'm growing. The things that I used to think I used to have to do all the time are those things that stayed on my mind. I rarely think about those things anymore. And I've got other things, more important things, goal-oriented things that I've got on my mind right now. And I know that's just God breaking me down and molding that clay. And he's trying to turn me into the vessel he wants me to be. And he's doing the same thing for you too. So don't get sad when people shy away from you. That just means that they can't walk in your lane. And they don't really know how to deal with you now because you've changed. And sometimes they haven't. But that's okay. That's just life. People are going to move in and out of your life. So let's talk about that she that I said ain't here anymore. The she that's not here anymore is that person that has low self-esteem. We leaving her in 2022. The one that has low self-esteem, she's the one that doesn't know her worth, her value. You are valuable no matter who you're around, no matter how much money they have, no matter if they've got nicer things than you. That does not decrease your value. You are just as valuable as anybody else. I don't care what they have. I don't care who they know. I don't care what position or title that they have. This woman in 2023 knows that she is just as valuable, because God says he's no respecter of persons. So you're not better than anybody else, but understand you're not less than anybody else either. So this woman that's walking into 2023 knows, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you say you are, what position, who you know, how much money you got. I'm just as valuable as you. And she conducts herself that way. The other lady we're leaving behind, or man we're leaving behind, is that lazy one. That lazy one that's always talking about stuff and never getting anything done. Let's leave that booger back in 2022. That procrastinator, we gonna leave that one. She got to go. That procrastinator, every time you turn around, you start something and then you stop and get distracted, and then you end up starting it up all over again and you never get it done. That's that procrastinator. You're wasting time. We leaving that back in 2022. Though that woman or that man with the addictions, the one with the bad habits, those things that you keep saying you're not going to do anymore. Make up your mind you're not going to do it and find something else to do. You have to keep your mind busy. An idle mind really is the devil's workshop. When he knows you're trying to stop doing something that's bad for you or that's holding you back, that's hindering you. Hey, Yvette. When he knows that you're trying to stop doing something, that's what he always wants to put on your mind. So you have to replace those thoughts with something greater. Because the idle mind is the devil's workshop. That's why you got to keep your mind busy and your mind focused on good things, those lovely things, those things of good report. Because if you don't keep your hands and your mind busy, you're going to constantly be going back to those addictions and those bad habits. So we want to leave all of that. We're going to leave her back here in 2022 because we got something better to do in 2023. Another person we're leaving behind is that person that allows everybody to treat them like a doormat. That person that allows people to play with them and use them. We are leaving that one back in 2022. Don't you get tired of people treating you like you're weak? Don't you get tired of people calling you only when it's convenient for them or only when they need something for you, from you? You have the power to stop that. Stop answering those calls. Stop responding to those text messages. If that's the only thing that you're good for, you know what? Let them find somebody else. And ladies, I'm talking about you. Y'all know, single ladies and those that have been single, y'all know about them late night phone calls. Everybody ain't innocent. Them late night phone calls, you don't hear nothing from that booger. And then all of a sudden, hey, how you doing? Hey, beautiful, blah, 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 blah. And on and on and on. Stop letting that person use you. Stop letting that person use you as a toy when they get bored. We have got to take some pride in ourselves. We have got to reevaluate who we are and say to ourselves, I'm valuable. Even if I have to be by myself, that's okay. At least I respect myself. At least you know that I'm more valuable than how you're trying to treat me. That's the sheet we're going to leave back in 2022, you guys. Okay? And then it's time to leave some baggage into this year. And let's move on. Everything can't go with you. And that's okay. You don't, dismiss anybody. You don't throw anybody away. But if they don't happen to gradually move with you, that's okay. Don't fight it. Understand that that's God's doing. God moves things and people out of your way. Because if they're going to be a hindrance for you, sometimes you won't let them go. So God has to gradually move them out of your way. So don't be clamoring for stuff. T.D. Jakes talks about that. How we reaching back for stuff that God is trying to get rid of. We got to let some things go if we want to open our hands to something new. And then when they look for the old you need to let them know. Though, you got those friends that want to keep you where you are right now. And they always like, let's call Karen. Let's see if she'll go with us. Let's see what she want to get into. Let them boogers know you're not here. Let them know. Let them go find somebody else. If you've outgrown that, if that's no longer your desire, don't be afraid to say no to your friends. Let them go find somebody else. It's okay. You don't have to be stuck just to be in relationships and friendships with other people. You have to make up your mind you want something better. You have to decide that you love you enough to change. And we all need to change. We all got work we need to do. And I wanted y'all to hear this. Miss Erykah Badu did a TikTok, and it was right on point about how we need to treat ourselves. And I'm going to let you guys listen to that real quick. It's real short.
The thing that keeps us going is our vitality. I subscribe to 5 doctors. Dr. Sun, make sure we get enough vitamin D. Yeah, Dr. Nutrition, making sure our vital bodies are clean and healthy.
Oh, come on. It's always something.
Performing up to its highest ability. Dr. Exercise, at least 15 minutes a day. Dr. Spirit, making sure that you communicate with the highest part of yourself, the highest form that you can imagine. And Dr. You, making sure that you take time to take care of you.
And see, those are the things that we need to do for ourselves. You need to understand that you've got to take care of your temple. You only get one body and you only get one mind. So you have to take care of you so that you can be the best you can possibly be. And she was talking about Dr. Sun. We need to all get that vitamin D. Everybody seems to be vitamin D deficient. We got to get out of the house, you guys. Get out there and get those rays, that sunshine. That sunshine is healing, you guys. So when the weather permits, don't stay cooped up in the house, because a lot of times that's how people get depressed. Get out and get amongst nature and feel what it's like to feel God shining down on you. That is healing, and it's good for your mind as well. Just take a walk sometime. And then she was talking about Dr. You. Pay attention to you. Pay attention to your body. Put some focus on you. Make sure you're taking care of you. She's talking about Dr. Health, taking care of your health, being careful about what you eat and things like that. We've got to do better about what we put inside of our bodies, you guys, because you know what you eat is going to affect your health. What you eat is going to affect your energy level. What you eat can even throw your hormones off. It can act up arthritis, this, that, and the other. So guys, let's get some knowledge and some understanding. Let's do some research on some things. If you're having aches and pains, this, that, and the other, do some research and see if maybe what you're eating could be causing those things to be worse. So moving on, let's talk about 11 steps to leaving that old person behind, that she behind, or that he behind in 2022. The first step is you got to make a decision to move on. Everything starts with a decision. Until you make up your mind, nothing is ever going to change. So the first thing you got to do, I got to make a decision that I want to move on to better, that I'm not satisfied where I am. And God didn't call us to be satisfied where we are. He said to be content, whichever state that you're in. But he didn't mean for you to stay there. It just meant for you to be content and be grateful for the time that you are there. Okay, so make a conscious decision to do something different. You can start with small things. Don't start your New Year's off with all these big old long list of big things that you want to do, because you're going to disappoint yourself. Start with small things, because nothing happened overnight. It took years for us to get to where we are now. So it's going to take some years for us to make the necessary changes. So make small steps at a time. Number 2, recognize that the past has no power over the present moment. A lot of times we're living in the past, and God is saying, why are you dwelling on that? Why are you focusing on that? You're not enjoying right now. You're missing right now. Look at you. You done had 24 hours and all you thought about was what happened to you 10 years ago. What happened to you the other day. You still mad about something that happened about last week, and you've lost a full 24 hours that's right in front of you. God been trying to bless you all day, but your mind is somewhere else because you're stuck in the past. We have got to get over some things, you guys. And guys, I encourage you to do something that I did for myself. I took a piece of paper, and this is between you and God. You don't show it to nobody. But I wrote down every major mistake that I made in my adult life that I was ashamed of. Every mistake I can remember. And the reason I say the ones I can remember, because those are the ones that plague you. Those are the ones that play over in your mind, the ones that you can remember. If you can't remember it, then you let it go. But the ones that you can remember, write them down. And I want you to put them in an envelope. Write it, top of it, apology letter. Apologize to yourself. Apologize to God one final time for whatever you did. And then once you write that down, I want you to put it in an envelope, seal it up, and I want you to set it on fire and give it to God and never dwell on that again. Never worry about that again. Because God always tells us in his word that if we talk to him, we ask him to forgive us, he casts our sins as far as the east is from the west. We're the ones that keep bringing them back up. And I'm notorious for it. And I have really fought myself about just letting some stuff go. What happened. It has nothing to do with today. So you have to make up your mind. You're not going to waste your now on something that happened in the past. Because there's not a thing you can do about it. But you're losing time, losing precious time. You're losing joy. You're losing energy behind something that's already happened. And we've got to do better this year. But you got to make up your mind. And number 3, forgive yourself for what you did not know. You guys, a lot of times, like I said last week, a lot of big mistakes I made out of ignorance because I wasn't taught a lot of things as a young lady. But that's okay. I learned it, but I had to learn it the hard way. But at the end of the day, I bought the lesson. I got it. I keep my lessons tucked up under my armpit, because when I need to pull that out and say, okay, remember last time, don't be a fool. Don't do that again. Okay, you see what happened last time? I'll be like, okay, you know what? No, I'm going to pass on that. So keep your lessons with you, because you want to remember so you don't have to be repeating the same things over and over again. That's what mistakes are for, at the end result, to give you a lesson that you can draw back on when you need it. Okay? Number 4, admission is the first step to growth. You got to admit that you're not where you need to be. If you're thinking you're all that, you'll never change. But when you recognize what's lacking in you, not what somebody else says, not everybody else's opinion, not comparing yourself to somebody else, but when you are not satisfied with you, you have to admit what you're doing wrong and have to commit to change. You have to, because if you never admit it, then nothing's ever going to happen. You're never going to grow. But you have to admit, hey, I got a nasty attitude. Hey, I'm mean in the morning. I have no patience for people that tell me I'm grumpy in the morning. You just woke up. And God didn't promise you another day. What you grumpy for? I don't get it. I understand not wanting to do a whole lot of talking, but don't be mean. Don't be all frowned up looking crazy because you did not have to be here. Hey, Miriam, you did not have to be here. So I have no patience for people to say, oh, I'm not a morning person. Don't bother me till I have my coffee. I said, boy, boo, that's stupid. You don't need coffee to make you feel better. All you need to do is have some appreciation and be grateful to God that He woke your behind up this morning. That'll change your whole attitude. Okay? Number 5, discard negative memories that no longer serve you. Like I said, write that apology letter. That stuff no longer serves you. Make sure you understand the lesson that you got out of everything that you did wrong. And Miriam, you weren't here, but I told people about letting go of the past that they need to write an apology letter that for their eyes only, everything that they've done wrong, everything that they keep reminding themselves of, write it down and tell God, I'm sorry, apologize to yourself, looking at mirror and say, Karen, I'm sorry for doing blah, blah. Read it off to yourself. Read it off to yourself. You ain't got to worry about apologizing to everybody. Read it off to yourself and forgive yourself. And burn that thing up and never think about that mess again. All you need out of that is the lesson. Okay? And number 6, embrace the changed part of yourself. When you see that you're changing, embrace that. Respect that. Appreciate that. Like I said, pat yourself on the back. Nurture the fact of the things that have changed in your life. Nurture the fact that you're not yelling at your kids like you used to. You're not being controlling. You're not arguing all the time. Embrace that and say, you know what? I like this new me. I like that I'm calmer now. I like that I think before I speak. So embrace whatever has changed in your life in 2022. Okay? And then add on to it. And then number 7 is forget regret and think about solutions instead. So quit worrying about all the things that you regret. Let's talk about solutions. Mistakes that you make, stop dwelling on them and try to find a solution to correct whatever you've done. You know, that's all you can do. Don't talk about the problem, talk about the solution. Oops, I did such and such. I wasn't supposed to do that. Let me find the solution for this. Oops, I didn't handle that money right and I made my bill short. What can I do to fix this? Find the solution. Don't sit around feeling bad about yourself when you mess up. Find the solution to correct the problem that you've created in your life. Okay? And number 8, learn to detach. Stop getting so attached to everybody and everything. You have to be able to detach because you never know who God's going to move in and out. You never know how long you're going to be at this place. You never know how long you're going to be on this job, this, that, and the other. Be present, but don't get clingy. Don't attach yourself to things so easily because sometimes that's our problem. That's how we get stuck because we get clingy, we attach, we get comfortable, we get warm like under that blanket. Don't get detached. Don't get attached so easily. You have to learn to detach because life is about constant motion. So you're constantly going to be changing. And sometimes those things that you get attached to, they're stubborn. They're not going to move. And then God is going to want you to move away from it. And you're going to have a hard time because you're going to be in your feelings because you allowed yourself to get too attached. Okay? Number 9, learn to control your thoughts. When those negative thoughts start coming back in your mind, or those thoughts of doing something that you said you weren't going to do anymore, cast that stuff down and say, you know what, let me get busy. There's something else I can be doing. Let me go to my to-do list. Let me go to my project list. Let me just get busy doing something else. Let me turn some music on. You have to control your thoughts. Even if somebody's trying to piss you off and make you mad, throw the thing, you know what, excuse me. Go take you a break. Walk away. Control your thoughts. Because once you let things come out of this mouth and once you start acting on those negative thoughts, a lot of that stuff you can't take back. So it's not worth it. We have to learn how to control what we think and control what we say. And when we control those two things, we can control what we do a little bit better. Okay? And number 10, cut toxic people out of your life. I don't care if they family, if they toxic, if they keep mess going, if they keep drama going, if they don't like peace, cut them out of your life. That doesn't mean you don't love them. That doesn't mean you don't check on them every once in a while. But don't make them part of your inner circle. Don't make them part of your everyday life. Don't spend a whole lot of your time and energy in that place with that person, because that's not going to help you at all. That's not going to help you grow. If anything, it's going to knock you back. So you need to cut toxic people. Ladies, those guys from your past that's always checking up on you, trying to see how you doing. Remember how he treated you back in the day? Remember how he treated you when you was with him? Cut them toxic people. He's just trying to see if you still single. He's just trying to see if he can still slide in somewhere. Cut those toxic people out of your life and let them move on. Number 11, like I said before, I tuck my lessons up under my arm. Take your lessons with you. There is no point in all that crying and carrying on and all that pain and suffering that we do if you don't take your lesson with you. God always has a lesson out of every battle that you go through, after every mountain that you have to go around or you have to climb. After every valley, you got to fall down on your knees and lay your face in the sand and beg God to get you out of. There's always a lesson. So make sure you get your lesson. Don't you leave your lesson behind. We ain't leaving no lessons behind in 2022. We're not going to make those same mistakes, and we don't want to go through those same hills, valleys, and whatever else. But we're taking our lessons with us, because somebody's going to need those lessons. You're going to need it. And maybe you can prevent somebody else from having to go through the same thing if you share some of those lessons with them. That's what Sister I Got You is all about. That's why I come on this podcast, because one thing about it, I want to see people living better, and I am not talking about money. You know, people, when I say that, people think, oh, yes, she want to be rich, blah, 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 blah. There's problems with all of that. I want people to be comfortable. I want people to have what they need, and I want people to have what they want. But it's not about money. It's about unity, you guys. It's about leaving something behind. It's about connecting with another woman or another man on a different level outside of sex. You know, sex is primitive. That's basics. Animals do that. You know, we're better than that. Everything doesn't have to be about sex, you guys. Connect with people on a deeper level, on a spiritual level. Get to know people. You know, a lot of times that's where the problem, that's why the relationships don't last, because we jump right in there and start acting like animals, instead of acting like the intelligent beings that God created us to be. It's time that we do more talking and less of all of that animalistic stuff, because you can learn if you want somebody really in your life, or if they're going to be an asset or a liability. You can't get that out of acting like an animal. You have to be intelligent. You have to ask the right questions. You have to spend time and really get to know somebody, to know if they benefit you, or if there's somebody that you need to just let pass on and move on out of your life. Okay? And ladies, I heard a guy say this on TikTok the other day, and I'll say it from the rooftop. Stop trying to be a man's piece. You know, a lot of women say, I just want to be his piece. I just want to blah, blah, blah. That's impossible. If a man doesn't already have peace before he gets with you, you cannot be his piece, because you know what? He going to bring that drama with you. He gonna bring it right into y'all's relationship. So if he don't have peace already before he finds you, you can't fix that for him. Only God can be your peace. You know, you can't be another person's peace. You can't fight another person's demons. You can pray for them, but you can't fight them for them. That's an individual. That's a spiritual thing. So stop saying that you want to be a man's peace, because that's impossible. Because whatever peace you got, he gonna disrupt it by bringing his drama into your life. And stop being everybody's backup plan too. You know, when one relationship don't work and then they start calling you and texting you, cut them boogers off. Cut them off. They should have acted right when they was with you. Okay? And then God often moves in silence, simply because he doesn't need our help or our permission to do what he needs to do in our lives. And a lot of times it feels like God is not with you, or you're not hearing from God, but God will send people into your life And that's why it's good to have a good support system, because sometimes they'll say the very thing that you've been needing to hear, for weeks and weeks, and they have no clue, why they said what they said. It was what was on their heart at the time. That's God moving. And sometimes he moves in silence, and sometimes he moves through people, and sometimes he moves through a word. You have to be in tune with that. That's why when you can't hear from God, don't give up. Just understand he's working. He's working some things out that you'll never understand. And just keep the faith and just keep praying and keep asking God, to send good people into your life. And the 2023 person I want to see us all become is that person that embraces the 23rd Psalm. That's probably my favorite book of scripture because it speaks volumes, and it helps you to stand up and hold your head up, and it helps you to understand that God is always with you. So let's start with verse 1. The verse 1, everybody knows this. It says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." So God is telling you he's not going to let you go without any good thing, anything that you need. You may not have everything that you want, but if God is your shepherd, you're going to call on him. He's going to make a way out of no way. So you got to stop speaking your problems and start talking about your blessings, because we've all got problems, you guys. And there's always going to be somebody that's got it worse than you. So understand that the Lord is your shepherd. He's going to take care of them, and he's going to take care of you. And when you get that deep down in your spirit, you don't worry as much. You're not as, I won't say you don't worry at all, because that's human. That's normal. And that anxiety, you can calm your anxiety just by reading the 23rd Psalm. So just understand that the Lord is your shepherd, and he's going to look out for you just like a shepherd looks out for the flock. He's not going to let you go too far to the left, too far to the right. He's going to nudge you back to where you get back in line. And sometimes it takes years to get back in line, but he's not going to leave you until you get back to where you need to be. Verse 2. It says, "He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters." Sometimes when we're hard-headed and we don't listen, God have to knock us down, make us lay down. He have to stir up enough stuff in our life to where we can't do nothing but call on him. That's when he makes you lie down. He's trying to get you to that peaceful place. He's trying to tell you, call on me. Let me handle things. If you let me handle it, it's going to work out better. And so sometimes he has to bombard us or allow enough stuff to happen in our life to where we can't do nothing but lay down. Have you ever had times when you're going through so much, you just say, I just want to go lay down? And sometimes that's the most peaceful sleep you ever have, because you finally stop fighting. You finally stop fighting. And if you stop fighting, then he can work for you. And it says, he leadeth me beside the still waters. That's why I believe water is so soothing, because God is trying to tell you he's like the water. He comes in and he comes out. He's never ending. And that's his love. It's never ending. And just like the rivers are never ending, the oceans are never ending, you can't point to the end of it, because that's how God is. God says, I'm overflowing for you, but you've got to be still and sit by the water and sit there and just think of me, meditate on me. He's going to show you, that he's going to take care of you, but you've got to calm down, sit down long enough to get still and get quiet so that he can speak to you and calm your spirit. And then verse 3, he restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Everything that we go through is for a reason. And a lot of times God lets us go through some things because we're headed down the wrong path. And he's trying to get us to make a U-turn before it's too late. And in the end of it all, it's all for his glory. Because once you turn around and do better and your life is better, that's a reflection of him. We're all a reflection of God. We're all a reflection of his love. Because what we do matters. And that's why when we treat people a certain way, if you're ugly to people, the first thing people say, oh, is she supposed to be a Christian? I said it myself. Trust me, because you're not showing the light that you're supposed to. When you're backbiting, when you're being mean to somebody, when you see somebody struggling and you don't even offer to help. It could be right in front of you struggling with something and you won't help. That don't look like a child of God. I don't see no light nowhere. You look like everybody else. We're supposed to stand out. And so sometimes God has to let us go through things so that our light can flicker again. Because sometimes our light gets dull. We start doing what everybody else does. We start trying to fit in. And God has to restore our soul and remind us of who we belong to, and remind us of the joy of the Lord, and remind us of our purpose for being here is to be a light. And so he has to restore our soul. So if he lets you go through something, just understand he's got a purpose for it. And he's going to restore your soul at the end. He's going to bring that light back, and you're going to have a glow about yourself if you allow God to do what he needs to do. You're going to have a glow about yourself, and people are going to be like, oh, you look so good. You just glowing. You know, something's different about you. That's God when he restores your soul after he allows you to go through the storm. And he gets the glory for that. So that's for his name's sake, because when you good, he good. It's just like a parent. Our kids are a reflection of us. When they act up, that's a reflection of me, and I know I taught you better. When they do stuff you know they weren't taught to do, it makes you mad, and I believe it makes God mad when we step out of character from what he's taught us, and because of how far he's brought us and everything that he's done for us, and we act ungrateful and act like God has never done anything to help us in our life. You know, that's a reflection of him. So he restores your soul for his righteousness' sake. Because if they see you and they see how God is blessing you, they see you and they see how beautiful you are. And I'm not talking about on the outside. I'm talking about on the inside, that real beauty. You know, when they see that, they know that God is blessing you, and they're going to be more attracted to you and going to be more attracted to God. Because if he can do it for you, he can do it for them. And number 4, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For their rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Now that's protection. That's God saying, you know, whatever you get yourself into, or whatever comes your way, you're not by yourself. I'm walking with you. And a lot of things that you think are going to destroy you, I'm not going to let it destroy you. It's just a shadow of death. You're not going to die. You might feel like you want to die, but I'm not going to let you die while you're going through it. So just understand that he's with you in the valley of the shadow of death, because the enemy's going to want you to think that's the worst thing that's ever happened to you. You might as well give up and die right now. You might as well just throw your hands up and not even try anymore. God said that is the shadow of death. You will not die. So God is trying to tell you, no matter where you make your bed, no matter what kind of stuff you get into, he's going to be there with you. If you're in jail, he's going to be there with you. If you're in the hospital, he's going to be there with you. So just understand that he wants you to know, because he's with you, you don't have to fear. And you don't have to fear evil, because he's got a rod and he's got a staff. He got something for the enemy. Just understand that. He got something for them, and that is your protection. That is your comfort, to let you know that he's always going to have his arms around you, no matter what you're going through. While you may not like the situation you have to deal with, you need to keep your hand in God's hands and just understand you're not going through it by yourself. And verse 5 says, thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. And that one, you know, a lot of times we get frustrated with God because our enemies always seem like they're doing better than us, or people that have done us wrong, they seem like they're making more money. They got nicer houses, nicer cars. Don't worry about all that stuff. God is going to elevate you whichever way he chooses to elevate you. And I promise you, all them onlookers on your Facebook page, all of them ain't your friends. A lot of them is your enemies trying to keep up with what you're doing. That's how important you are. When people do you wrong, that guilt will make them check back and try to see how you doing. You'll never hear from them sometimes, but I promise you, they watching, they asking about you. They all in your DM. They looking at everything they can, trying to see what's going on in your life. And God will show them up and let them see, okay, whatever you tried to do, boo-boo, it didn't work. Look at her. She's still smiling. Look at her. She done moved on. Look at her. She got her head up. You tried to destroy her. You lied on her. You cheated on her. You abused her. And look at her. She's still moving on because she's got me with her. She didn't need you in the first place. You're not stronger than me. And you got to remember, God is bigger than your enemy. So whatever they tried to do, it's not going to work. God is going to turn that thing around, and it's going to be a blessing to you in the end. And you're going to have so much coming at you that you won't have room enough to receive. And you'll forget some of those things that people have done to you. Hey, Linda, you'll forget some of those things because God is going to bless you so. Just because they mess with you, He's going to bless you just to spite them so that they can see you doing better and see you being blessed. So that's why you can't worry about people that have hurt you. Don't worry about people that have done you wrong. They're going to get theirs. Trust me, they're going to have to deal with some stuff themselves. You have to forgive people and move on with your life because God has anointed you to live. He's anointed you to live life and live it more abundantly. He's anointed you, like I said before, to be a light. You can't be a light still bent over, crying over what somebody did to you and worrying about how well they're doing without you. Let them move on. Because sometimes you're a hindrance to people. Sometimes you're the reason that they grow up and they get better. Yes, it hurts when you put blood, sweat, and tears into a relationship and that person has done all the worst to you, and then they get out of the relationship with you and then they decide they want to act like they got some sense. You know, sometimes you're the reason, and sometimes you have to be the sacrifice in order for God to get the best out of them. And it's not fair. No, it's not. But just know that you're going to be all right either way. And so He prepares the table. He's going to let all those people that had all that bad stuff to say about you, all those people that didn't have any faith in you, all those people that pretended to be your friend and really weren't. Hey, Sandra, He's going to let them see you prosper. And it's not for you to brag. It's not for you to gloat. Just walk with your head up. And just understand that one monkey don't stop no show. And that's something that my cousin used to say all the time. And as I got older, I understand. Quit depending on one person to be in your corner. One monkey don't stop no show. You keep moving. You let them see you moving on. I promise you, they're going to be calling and knocking on your door saying, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. What you got going on? Yeah. You let them see you being blessed. And God anoints your head with oil. That means God is protecting you. It's His oil that's over your life. You know, what God has for you is for you. No enemy can stop it. No enemy can block it. So don't worry about who tries to sabotage you. You ain't got to worry about that. God knew it was going to happen before it happened. He anointed you, and He's going to make your cup runneth over. You're not going to have to want for anything. You're not going to need anything. He's going to send people that are going to support you. He's going to send people that are going to love you. You know, but you got to let go of some things, and you got to let go of what your enemy's doing because they don't have nothing to do with you anymore. Just let them do what they're going to do. And then verse 6, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That is your declaration. When you're going through something, remind yourself, God said, surely. So this is temporary. So surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. So that lets you know you're never alone. Goodness and mercy are always right there ready for you whenever you need it. God is going to send you some goodness, and when you mess up, God's going to show you some mercy. And that same goodness and mercy that God shows to you, He wants you to show it to other people. It's not just for you. It's for you to show to other people. And those things are going to follow you all the days of your life. And our reward is that we're going to dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We're going to have a place. We're going to have a home when we leave this earth. So that is our reward. So those are the things that make you hold your head up and help you to understand trouble don't last always. You know, you may be going through it right now, but keep your hand in God's hand. Remind yourself of the 23rd Psalm. Speak God's word back to Him and remind Him of what He promised you, you know, and live on that. and walk in that and hold your head up. Don't let life have you bent over with your head down. We all make mistakes. We all go through things, but we will get through it. And surely goodness and mercy will follow us all the days of our life. And let's decide not to be a part of some things in 2023. Let's not be a part of the drama that's out there in the world. Everybody's got TikToks, they got videos, of women not getting along and just people just arguing with one another, just can't communicate. Let's not be a part of that in 2023. Make it your point to have good communication with everybody. Make it your job that if you don't understand something or you feel like somebody doesn't understand something, make sure you get clarification and ask people, hey, did you understand everything I was saying? You want to go over it again? There's nothing wrong with just making sure whatever you're communicating gets heard the proper way. That's the only bad thing about text messages. Sometimes people read them too fast, or sometimes you may forget to put something here and there in a message and it can have a totally different meaning. So be careful about texting people, trying to have whole conversations through text messages. We have got to learn to communicate face to face with one another. We used to do that, but technology has made that almost a thing of the past, but we really need to get back to that in 2023. We need that connection. We need to be able to look in each other's eyes when we talk and look at body language, this, that, and the other, to make sure that our communication is effective, to make sure that what we're saying is being understood the proper way. And that'll keep down a whole lot of confusion. That'll keep down a whole lot of people not getting along. And they always talk about women can't get along. A lot of it is miscommunication. And a lot of it is misunderstandings, and a lot of it is just jealousy. And it's time out for that. So let's choose to not be part of that stereotype. And let's not be part of the stereotype as women who nag all the time, or women who complain all the time, or men who complain all the time and don't know how to support anything. People that always want to tell you what could go wrong instead of getting out there and taking a chance and say, you know what, I'll get behind you on that. That sounds like a good idea. I'm willing to try. What do you need me to do? We got to step out in 2023 and be available for something new. Instead of always looking at it in a negative way, why don't you try and see what happens? Why don't you try being supportive for someone that's got a good idea and just see what happens? You might be surprised. You just might have to change your way of thinking. Let's not be a part of the type of men and women that are so controlling that they can't allow other people to lead sometimes, that they have to have all the attention. They have to control every little thing because you know what? That is so unattractive. People get sick of that. They tolerate it for a little while. If you're cute, they'll tolerate it for a little while. But even the cuteness wears off. There's got to be a point where you respect another person's opinion, that you have to let go of the reins and quit trying to be in control of everything. We got to let go of some things, you guys. That's why it's hard for people to connect with us. If we're already controlling everything has to be our way or the highway, that's why we don't make those effective connections. And that's why a lot of times those relationships don't last, because people get sick of that after a while. Because people are grown. They don't want to be around their mother bossing them, telling them what to do, or their daddy, trying to re-raise them again. We got to do better about allowing people to be who they are and respecting one another's opinion. Okay? And then we've also got to not be a part of the kind of people that ask for what they can't give. It's a lot of times when people, I want this, that, and the other. I want a man like this. I want a woman like this. But you make sure what you're asking for, that you have that to offer as well. If you want somebody that's, stable, making good money, that's loyal, that's good with kids, you make sure you're mirroring what you're asking for, because that's only fair. Don't put that all on one person to be the strong arm all the time. Y'all need to mirror that and make sure that you're compatible with that other person. So don't ask for what you cannot offer, okay? Because it's a two-way street. Just because you want it, don't think that they don't want the same thing as well. So you need to be able to bring what you're asking for. And the last thing we want to not be a part of next year is refuse to put your focus on where you messed up or where you fell short or where you fell apart. Don't feed into that. Allow that thing to die and let's get up and let's move on. Okay? And a lot of times we need to just allow God to be God in our lives. He don't have to tell us what he's doing. Just let him do it. Just trust him to do what he's going to do in your life. Okay? So my final thought for today is remember, people aren't born great. They have to reach. They have to stretch. They have to grow. They have to cry. They have to sacrifice to become great. So you're on your way. If you're trying to do better than last year, you're on your way to greatness, because greatness to another person might be a totally different thing to greatness to you. But greatness is being a better person than you were yesterday. So you're on your way. So just keep going. And learn to speak things into existence in your life. Speak things into your life like, I am confident. I am worthy. I am a good man. I am a good woman. I am a good provider. I am a good, spouse. I am a good girlfriend. Those things, once you get that confidence in yourself, once you start believing what you're saying about yourself, you're going to attract the right people. You're going to attract some quality people. But as long as you're walking around in low self-esteem, as long as you're speaking negative over your life, you're going to get a lower level of people, or people that are just like you. And two broken pieces, they can't stay together. They're going to fall apart because nobody's stable. So let's get stable in our life. Let's get stable in our emotions. And let's make up our mind about what we feel about ourselves in 2023. And don't let the world fool you. You don't need somebody to make you great. You don't need somebody to complete you. God does that. That's God's job. Nobody can complete you. So that's why you have to learn to be a force all by yourself. That's why you need to learn to be complete. Learn to be whole. Learn to love yourself before you try to get with somebody else, because that is not their job to do that for you. You have to get that for yourself. And it's time to snatch some stuff back from the enemy. So when something old or something that you've outgrown tries to reach out for you or tries to call you, leave them a message and let them know she ain't here. And you have to mean that. Don't go back to those old ways that you fought so hard to get away from. Don't get caught up in stressing about tomorrow. Don't get caught up living in bondage from guilt from your past and those wounds from yesterday. Get healed. Get healed, you guys, so that you can grow, so you can enjoy today, so you can enjoy right now. That is the only thing that we're promised, is our right now. So let's make a point in 2023 to enjoy every day. Every day, try to be the best you can possibly be. Yes, you're going to miss the mark sometimes. Lord, I know, because sometimes people will test your Holy Ghost. But you know what? Straighten your halo up. Get your mind back right. Get your thoughts on the things you need to be thinking about, and try to do it again the next day, and try to do better the next day. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys for the later time and working with me and adjusting with me. Let people know about the page, you guys. Let's get our numbers up. Let's reach more women, more men, because everybody needs to be encouraged. Everybody's had to go through something. We'll all go through things. That's just part of life. But we need a place where we can encourage and let people know that you're not by yourself. Let people know that there is a group that will support them, that will shower them with love, that will send them prayers if they tell us they need prayers, or if they have a question about something they can inbox. Let them know that that's out there, and let them know that they don't have to go through life by themselves, and they don't have to walk around with their heads held down. Our job with Sister I Got You is to help you lift that chin up and help you straighten that back up and walk the way you're supposed to be. You are a queen and you are a king. God bless you guys. Have a Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Looking forward to our new season in 2023. Don't know where God is taking me, but you know what? We're going to ride with it wherever we're going. Thank you, you guys. Y'all have a blessed night. Stay warm and stay safe. Love you. Bye-bye.